Week 16 of the fantasy football season. Here's a few running backs I looked at off the wire this week. The first back, Jerome Ford of the Cleveland Browns. So now with Nick Chubb out, broke his foot, most likely out for the season. Ford's going to fill in and be the running back here for Cleveland. And I know we've seen flashes from Ford, especially last season, but now stepping in for Chubb, even though early in the season he was the back over there for Nick Chubb with Donta Foreman mixed in as well. So Ford, the last couple games, obviously the numbers have gone down, being a backup and change of pace back. Week 13 at Denver, 9 carries, 41 yards, a catch, 21 yards. Week 14 at Pittsburgh, 10 carries, 28 yards, 3 catches, 19 yards. And Week 15 versus the Chiefs, a big game, 7 carries, 84 yards, a touchdown, 2 catches, 20 yards. So he's a more explosive back, I think, at this point of his career. Chubb, we know he's not a running back that's going to catch the football out of the backfield. Now with him banged up, obviously, and most likely out for the season with a broken foot here, is Nick Chubb. I think Jerome Ford, he could be a decent back. We saw early in the season, 3 out of the first 4 games of the year, he had double-digit fantasy points in PPR leagues. And right now, available in 58% of leagues, and he's got a good matchup Week 16 at the Cincinnati Bengals, a defense that just isn't that good. Back Tajay Spears of the Tennessee Titans, one of the better handcuff backs in all fantasy football, and he came back with a nice ball game after he struggled a little bit with Tajay Spears over the last few weeks. So Week 15, a big ball game versus the Bengals, 4 carries, 5 yards, a jump over the top touchdown, 6 catches, 87 yards, and a receiving touchdown. I know it's been a great season, no doubt about it. This year, it's been obviously for Tony Pollard, but this game, Tajay Spears, he outplayed Pollard. I know Pollard, he found the end zone as well in last week's ball game, 17 carries, 45 yards, a touchdown, and a fumble loss. But Tajay Spears coming into the year, I thought him and Pollard to be more of a split, and I know the upside of Tajay Spears. So right now, while he's out there in 56% of fantasy leagues, and he's coming off a big game, a nice running back to head off the wire this week, and expect Sincere McCormick of the Vegas Raiders. So McCormick, he's going to be the starter the remainder of the season. I know they didn't play yet, is this Vegas Raider team, but if he goes out there tonight and has a big ball game, then there's not going to be an opportunity, I believe, for fantasy owners to go out there and get him, because he's only available right now in 57% of fantasy leagues. Amir White, Alexander Madison couldn't get the job done when they had opportunities early in the season, and now McCormick's come in and he's playing well. Week 12 versus Denver, 5 carries, 33 yards. Week 13 at the Chiefs, 12 carries, 64 yards, 2 catches, a yard. And Week 14 at Tampa Bay, 15 carries, 78 yards, 2 catches, 11 yards. So he's been solid over the last couple weeks. He looked the more impressive Raider back between White, him, Madison, and Abdul, even though it's been a small sample size. And like I said, if he goes out there here tonight, has another serviceable game, he's not going to be available on the waiver wire, is McCormick. So definitely a running back to add this week. The next back, Justice Hill of the Baltimore Ravens. So Justice Hill, he's been one of the better third down backs in all pro football, and he's coming off a big ball game at the New York Giants in Week 15. So the last few weeks here for Hill, Week 12 at the Chargers, 4 carries, 55 yards, touchdown, 2 catches, 7 yards. Week 13 versus the Eagles in that ball game, 3 carries, 6 yards, 4 catches, 15 yards. And then, like I said, at the Giants in Week 15, a big game, 2 carries, 7 yards, 5 catches, 61 yards, and a touchdown, including 40-plus yard touchdown in that game. So Justice Hill, we know he's explosive. We know this is a high-powered offense where they're going to put a lot of points on the board. And in a grinded-out type of game versus Steelers, maybe they use Justice Hill in different ways and get him the football in open space a little bit. So right now, if you need a running back in deeper leagues, he's out there in 83% of fantasy leagues. And the final back I look to get off the wire is Kendre Miller of the New Orleans Saints. So we know Alvin Kamara left the game with a groin injury. He didn't return, even though it was late in that game. And Kendre Miller, I did mention him last week as someone to keep an eye on. Obviously, that if Kamara ever went down, he was going to step in as Kendre Miller as the running back for the Saints team. So the last couple of weeks where he's gotten more work, 14 at the Giants, 10 carries, 32 yards, a touchdown. In Week 15 versus the Commanders coming in relief, 9 carries, 46 yards. So Miller's look good in a limited role. I know this is a Monday night game here in Week 16. Definitely could be tricky to see if Kamara is playing or not. But right now, well, he's out there in tons of fantasy leagues at 89%. And we don't know the status, obviously, of Kamara. Miller's definitely a running back to add this week. So that's a few running backs I looked at off the wire for Week 16 of the fantasy football season.